Hello, I'm Clive Bellmore. I'm the founder and director of ENTOTA. I've just grabbed Andy Lund, our SAP Data Migration Practice Lead, for a few minutes just to talk about his experiences of data migration projects in previous lives, what goes wrong, what we can do to address them. So Andy?
Always happy to talk about data migration. So just to give a bit of an insight into some of the common things that we find on projects. We find typically the biggest challenge around data migration is not actually the technical process of doing the migration, it's actually gathering the requirements required for the data migration project. Typically projects have Excel spreadsheets, Word documents, and these are being worked on by lots of people. And gathering those requirements to be able to implement those is a challenge, and also tracking the status of that. So the way we try to approach our projects is by putting in place a collaboration tool. We have a data standards portal in which we drive all the documentation of the data requirements and the data standards through a single point of reference, and that allows us to have better control of the data design. And then it also gives us the ability to leverage that data design in our mapping specifications to always make sure that the consultants responsible for doing the mapping and doing the conversion are always aligned to the latest data definitions, the business rules, which fields are required. And we also find that by taking that approach, the other teams that depend upon that can also reuse those data definitions for data quality and also application integration and data maintenance.
So we got these solution accelerators. The client we started working with recently, I think, spent 3 or 4 months trying to get those definitions sorted out and didn't really quite get there.
Typically on a project, consultants come in and they may have Excel spreadsheets that have data definitions for maybe a customer master or material master, and these are often of a variable quality. So other projects don't have anything. So consultants spend many weeks pressing F1 on an SAP screen to get the table and field name. But in total, we have a suite of 50, 60 different data definitions that act as our starting point as an accelerator. So when we come on site, instead of doing those tasks, we get straight into actually configuring those to the requirements of the project.
So that last project we did, I think it was a utilities company, three functional areas. There was an immediate recognition of 135 days saved. So we could actually come in with those data definitions and data standards and immediately start the data mapping, profiling and that kind of work.
Exactly. And also having a consistent way of documenting these things, we're also able to utilise some of the ENTOTA technology to actually automatically generate components of our migration solution. So a lot of the things that are repetitive tasks, we can actually do that automatically.
So that's a very good point. So typically we could ask, we can offshore data migration. You can offshore data migration, but it's a very iterative task. With our data standards portal, we can automatically generate data services code to dramatically reduce design build times in data services. So almost negating the need to offshore because we're auto-generating that component of the project.
Yeah, and then it keeps the real focus of the consultants on the ground in really fine-tuning those processes to make sure that they actually deliver data that is really fit for those business processes being implemented.
And not developing ETL code.
Exactly.
Yeah. Anyway, I grabbed Andy for a few minutes. I hope that was a useful soundbite. If you're interested in more information, it's www.entota.com. Thank you for listening.